Coming up on First at 4, the war on poverty taking center stage at an event in Inez. What leaders say is being done to help those in need of things like health care and housing. And campus protests against the war in Gaza continue across the country.
Plus, we are tracking some showers to end the work week. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon. We've made it to Friday. I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a conference all about community development and celebrating change brought people from across the region to Martin County today. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about Dream Appalachia's inaugural poverty conference.
From healthcare to housing, the Dream Appalachia Poverty Conference brought minds from across the region to celebrate progress and continue the push when it comes to the war on poverty. The Collier Center in Inez played host to the inaugural Poverty Conference, marking the 60th anniversary of President Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty visit to Eastern Kentucky by bringing the progress and potential to the stage. Senate President Robert Stivers led a panel discussion during the event, saying it is a powerful way to shine the spotlight on the partners, programs, and people involved in innovating the region.
We get a bad rap a lot of times about, Eastern Kentucky has all the problems, but a lot of people don't see all the things that are going on. You look at this building, you look at this conference, you look at what the educational institutions are doing, you look at how we're dealing with the process of internet and how we're creating jobs here.
Organizers say it takes a lot of partnerships to make an event like this happen, which they say goes to show it's not only about the dreams, but the desire to see improvements here in the region. In Martin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The conference just wrapped up, but we will have more about the event and the conversations it sparked coming up at 6. Another big event was happening at the same time today in Corbin. We'll have more from day 2 of the East Kentucky Leadership Conference in our next half hour. Nurses in today's world need to be prepared for any emergency situation, and those at Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College are doing just that. Early this morning, multiple departments came together to give second-year nursing students a taste of what they could come across in the future.
This is our first mock disaster since 2019. We have these for the nursing students, the sophomore nursing students, to get tested on their abilities that they have learned. And it's also a good thing for agencies to come in and practice these skills. This year we did a mock disaster for mining, and it was just a good exercise for all local law enforcement and EMS to come and practice.
Officials say this is the first emergency practice session since the pandemic.
After some warm and dry weather on Wednesday and Thursday, we are tracking that rain chance to increase as we go into your Friday. Let's take a live look at First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, and some good news, nothing severe today, but we are tracking some light to moderate showers in some areas. Zooming into Southeast Kentucky, also Southwest Virginia, from Pennington Gap and Lee County pushing into Wise County. A few showers here, and same story for Harlan County pushing into parts of Perry, Leslie, and Letcher counties at this hour, and same story for far southern Kentucky on I-75 from Whitley County, also pushing into parts of Knox and Bell counties at this hour. A live look across the region, more clouds today thanks to this weather system, and you can tell where the rain has fallen, down to 57 for Middlesboro, up to 75 in Moorhead, also in Floyd County, and all of us back in the 50s and 60s as we go into this evening, as those rain chances are set to increase once again. Not going to be a washout this evening, but some off and on showers are possible. And the big story this weekend, we are warm. Highs back in the middle to lower 80s as we go into this weekend, and also another cold front by early next week. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thanks. Former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker returned to the stand today for more cross-examination in former President Donald Trump's New York criminal trial. In his testimony, Pecker described how he worked with Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to help prevent alleged affairs from becoming scandals during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign.
The DA's case is really rises and falls with David Pecker's testimony because he is the linchpin behind their theory of this sort of conspiratorial scheme to influence the election.
Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. This morning, he called his criminal trial rigged. He also expressed frustration that the trial is keeping him off the campaign trail and that today it's keeping him from celebrating his wife Melania's birthday. Another deadline has come and gone for pro-Palestinian demonstrators to break down their encampment on the campus of Columbia University. Students at Columbia and around the country are demanding their schools cut ties with companies that do business with Israel, and law enforcement has been cracking down. CBS's Michael George reports from New York.
As talks between school administrators and pro-Palestinian protesters on Columbia's campus continue, pro-Israeli demonstrators, mostly non-students, made their voices heard outside.
Nobody's talking about the hostages.
This Columbia grad student who took part in the rally worries those in the encampments are forgetting about the hostages still being held by Hamas.
If you actually want peace to be achieved as we do, and if you want a ceasefire, the hostages need to be released.
The students have been calling on the school to divest financially from companies that do business with Israel, angry over the ongoing war and humanitarian situation in Gaza.
They believe they can outstand us. We tell them that they cannot.
Columbia is working to regain control by keeping outsiders out. Security's now checking IDs to make sure only students and staff can get in. It was a different scene at Ohio State overnight. At least 3 people, including a graduate student, were arrested after setting up an encampment near the Student Union Center. Video posted on social media Thursday showed officers tearing down tents at Emory University in Georgia and appearing to tase someone pinned to the ground. Despite the crackdown on some campuses, pro-Palestinian demonstrators at UCLA say they're staying put.
We are here to make sure that the UC is not actively funding the violence that's happening abroad.
The University of Southern California announced it's canceling its main graduation ceremony, citing safety concerns. Columbia University's graduation is still set for May 15th. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A group of Columbia students have filed a lawsuit against the university, claiming the pro-Palestinian protesters have been victims of discrimination. President Biden, who was in New York today, did not visit the school. The head of the Federal Student Aid Office is stepping down. Chief Operating Officer Richard Cordray announced in a letter today he would not be serving another 3-year term. The move comes after the botched rollout of this year's college financial aid application form known as FAFSA. Delays and technical glitches have kept millions of students and prospective students waiting to hear about how much money college will cost them. As a result, the Government Accountability Office has started to investigate how the new FAFSA form was implemented. Coming up on First at 4, it was a night to remember in Harlan County. We'll take you inside the festivities for the recent special needs prom.
Plus, a taste of summer is on the way for this weekend. Those details after this break.